So this here is a little bit of a different setup, and that's because I want to try something easier to work with than setting up my camera all the time. And yeah, so today I want to talk about the problem with replaying games. So before I get into it, feel free to follow me on my social media on Instagram and Twitter at CommanderNici, just like my channel name. And now, let's go. I love playing video games, as you know. Maybe that's because you're here, because that's basically all I talk about. And I love to replay them every now and then, but that creates problems. And I want to talk about them. For example, the first impression of playing a whole new game, new to you, it's gone. Like, and you start up Skyrim, and after the intro where you're almost beheaded but saved by a dragon, and you walk out of that cave and see that massive, beautiful landscape. It's breathtaking. But it's only this once that you truly experiencing that stunning moment. And that is sad because I really like the world of Skyrim. Stay tuned for the future. I'll be doing a video on that. And it's sad, or playing Red Dead Redemption for the first time. Playing any game you end up enjoying for the first time is a special experience, and it's an experience that you'll never be able to repeat unless you find a new game to like and to enjoy that hits a similar effect. Also, spoilers that you remember? Bit of a problem here, especially with twists that are just amazing. Sure, sometimes knowing those twists is good for your nerves, so you don't have to worry about characters you thought were dead in that moment. But there's also the happiness of the surprise that the character isn't dead, that is taken away from you, because you might or might not kind of remember that in the back of your head, and it's sad. And another game that I've thought about is a problem, especially with choice-based games. It's accidental metagaming. Like, I know Mass Effect basically from start to finish with almost every decision and their outcomes and their effects that stretch throughout the whole trilogy, and same with other choice-based games like Life is Strange. Not so much for the second one, but it's kinda samey, like those decisions are coded as fuck, and so yes, some decisions are clearer than others, of course, yes, but you can already guess your ending based on the decisions you've made once you've started and finished it at least once, so that's kind of a problem there. It's cool that it has 4 different endings, of course, and seeing them all by yourself is definitely worth trying out. If you don't have to, I have to have the energy to play the game 4 times. Sure, a collection of the endings on YouTube is fine, but that's the thing. If you know how it'll end and how certain decisions affect your ending or outcomes in the story, it's kinda hard to replay certain games truly with your decisions, because let's say in May, when the legendary edition of Mass Effect finally comes out, and maybe because I think a better character creator got announced, and I could possibly have a female shepherd with my hair, and then obviously I'd want to play the game with my decisions. Like, I'm currently blanking on a decision, but some decisions in Mass Effect are just like, I wouldn't do that personally, but I know it's a good decision for the game. Like, for example, in Mass Effect 2, the decision with the Gaff, if you override them or just destroy them. Like, Reignite Pod did a great discussion on that, and how it's like kind of slavery to override them, or mind control, something iffy, but killing them is also like bad. So like overwriting a gaff is kind of bad. Killing too, but like at least it's not like overwriting sounds so forceful and brutal and unconsensual. So destroying them sounds like the better choice. But I know for Mass Effect 3 that... Oh, spoiler by the way, I'm sorry. But if you're talking about replaying games, spoiler warnings should be obvious. But I know that for Mass Effect 3, I need those Gaff in the database of the Gaff hive mind to be stronger against the Reapers. But if I have destroyed them in Mass Effect 2, that creates problems. And also with many other decisions, it's really complicated. And for example, in Life is Strange, there are certain decisions that I'm just taking for a metagame perspective by now, because I know what will happen, and it's not my decision anymore. It's a meta decision that I take because I want a certain outcome in the game, and not because I feel that's the choice that is right. Like, just take, and that's in the gameplay clip that's on YouTube, so it's not too much spoilery content. In the beginning of Life is Strange 2, you have the decision to either lie or tell the truth to Esteban, Sean and Daniel's dad, and if you lie to him, he'll give you just a little bit of extra money to buy snacks for the party. That is not gonna happen. But if you're telling the truth and tell him, yes, I actually do want to get some beer and maybe smoke some weed, he'll be, ah, boy, I was like that too. Here you go, you wild party animal, and he'll hand you like a lot more money. And any teen would lie to their parents about their party activities, of course. That's how teens are. And maybe not every teen would hug their parents when going away for a party, but as we know, the beginning of Life is Strange 2, that would have been the last chance for Sean to ever hug his dad. And that's sad, and that's where the metagaming comes in, because if you don't hug Esteban in that moment as Sean, it messes with him so much, and so that's sad, and I would decide differently just because I know the outcome. And there are games that are fine to replay, like Wolfenstein or Uncharted, even though there are some twists in there too that are kind of taken away by the replaying. But I think they are not as bad as decisions in games that affect the outcome of the story. And yeah, so replaying games is fine and fun. I loved replaying GTA 5. That was cool. I still couldn't finish some missions and had to use the checkpoint system to skip them, but that's okay. I love the accessibility that GTA 5 gives me with that. Check out my video about hard games to know more about that. But I think that's it for now. Comment down below what are your opinions on replaying games. Feel free to follow me on my social media on Instagram and Twitter, just like my channel name. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoyed this weird rant. And until I figured out what I can upload next, watch my other stuff. Bye.